Hi everyone, it's Chloe from Chloe's Creative Cards, and I am really excited to be sharing with you today this fabulous project using our Flowerburst Elements Stamps along with our Happy Birthday stamp and die set. This is a really quick and easy project that you're going to be able to recreate at home. We're going to be doing a multicoloured embossing powder technique to create our own background, which is then going to create the focal image of our project. And we're also going to be doing some die cutting to add a sentiment onto our finished card. These stamps and dies are really lovely images. They're going to be great to use for all different occasions, and the Flowerburst Elements stamp is a beautiful one. It is going to be one that lives on your desk. It is fantastic for creating backgrounds. It is brilliant for using behind your flowers. There is so much that you can do with this stamp set. Okay, so we're going to get started. So I've got a piece of plain white card here, and then I've also taken my Summer Sparkle set of 6 WOW powders. So you can pick any different 6 colours that you want to use for your WOW. I've gone for these ones because they're nice and summery. Okay, so what we're going to do to start with is I'm going to just move those out of my way. I'm going to take my stamp out of the packet. I'm going to take the largest image, so I'm going to take this really nice large flower burst to start with. I'm going to pop that onto my acrylic block which I've got here. Okay, we're going to take our white card and just give it a dust with an anti-static bag like so, and then I'm going to take my clear embossing ink pad. So the one I'm using is the WOW clear embossing ink pad. It's a really good sticky ink, so it's great for using with all of your embossing powders. I'm then going to ink up the stamp. So lots and lots of tapping all over, and then I'm going to stamp this down. So I'm going to stamp one here like so. I'm going to lift that off. I've then got a scrap piece of paper here, and I'm going to take one of my WOW powders. So the colour I'm going to use is Cherry Pie. I'm going to sprinkle this over, and you'll see how that just sticks to where that flower burst image is. I'm going to pop that back into the jar. And then we'll heat this one up, and we're going to do this numerous times till we have a full background. So I'm just holding my heat gun still, and then as soon as I see that powder start to melt and change, I'm just moving my heat gun off the image like so. And there we go. So we're going to re-ink that stamp now. We're going to use our clear embossing ink pad again. And then I'm going to stamp another one of these. So I'm going to stamp it around here, I think. Give it a little dust again. Stamp your image down. And then we'll use a different colour. So for this one, I think, should we go with this one, which is Lavender Frosting. This is a pretty pinky purple colour. Really nice and soft, this one. Okay. Put that back into the jar. Now what you can do if you want, if you're quite a confident stamper, is instead of heating them all individually, you can stamp a couple and then start to heat them, which is what I'm going to do. So I've stamped one there. I'm going to stamp another one near the bottom there. Stamp one in here, like so. And I think we'll do that one in the green. So this is a key lime pie. Tap off the excess, and notice how I'm tapping it away from that lilac as well, because obviously we haven't heated that yet. It's going to go back into the jar, and then we'll stamp one more just in that top corner, the large one, I think. Okay, and then we'll do that one. We'll do that in the blue, which is Ice Pop. This was the one of the original sample jars that I'm using, so yours will have a lovely label on. Put that back into the jar. Okay, so we're going to heat these 3 up now. So again, I'm going to take my heat gun. I'm going to hold my heat gun still, and then as soon as I see that powder starting to melt and change, I'm going to just move my heat gun over the image. So you can then see how you've got all of that lovely sparkle on there. What I'm then going to do is take one of the smaller flower bursts. So we could go for this one maybe. Should we go? No, we'll go for this one. I'm going to pop this onto an acrylic block again, and I'm just going to start and stamp a few more into the background. So I'll give my card a little dust with an anti-static bag. Take my ink pad, re-ink my stamp. Place that one down there. I'm going to do that one in a strawberry shake, I think, which is this one here. So you can see how you can just start to build up your background. Then we'll do one maybe up in the top corner up here. So we'll re-ink our stamp. Stamp that in the corner there. Should we go for peach? We'll go for perfectly peach with this one. Sprinkle that over there. You can see how this is all starting to come nicely together now. Then we'll stamp another couple. We'll stamp one in here and one in there. Put one there. And we'll do that one in Ice Pop. So we'll take the blue. So again, you're just randomly doing this to build up a background. You don't have to be too precise about it or anything like that. We're just randomly stamping these flower bursts into the background. Down here. I'm going to stamp this one with cherry pie. Sprinkle that over. Then we'll tap off the excess. And there we go. Straight back into the jar. And then we're going to heat this up. So to heat this up, I'm again just holding my heat gun still, and then as soon as that powder starts to melt and change, I'm just moving my heat gun over the image. Okay, what I'm going to do now is you've got lots of little smaller elements on your stamp plate as well. So I'm going to take one of these and stamp them into the centres of the larger flower bursts. So I'm just going to ink that up and stamp that down, and I'm going to cover that with, I'm going to cover these ones with Perfectly Peach. Okay, so what you can do is just work your way around, adding in your little centres. So, in there. I think I might put them in the middle of the slightly smaller ones as well, just to break it up a bit. But you can see how it gives it a really, really pretty look, and it does start to make them look more like little flowers in your project. Okay, so put the little bit of peach onto these as well. Okay, so you can see how that's all starting to come nicely together now. Back into the jar again. And then we'll just heat this up. So again, I'm just holding my heat gun still. And then as soon as that powder starts to melt and change, I'm just moving the heat gun over the image. Okay, so you can see how that's starting to come together now. We can take a little smaller flower burst again. I think we'll go for this one down here. I'm going to take one of the other smaller ones now, and I'm just going to dot this in and around the background. So I'm going to go in with my stamp and just start to fill in some of the gaps. Really, it's nothing kind of too difficult, nothing too complicated. And just work around filling those in. And then I think we'll cover all of those with Ice Pop, which is the blue. So just sprinkle that over anywhere where you've got fingerprints as well. So that sometimes does happen, you do get a little bit of ink on your fingers. You can always just take a paintbrush and brush those areas off before you heat them up. Okay. I'll go back into there. Then we're going to heat this up. See how pretty that then starts to look. Then again, we can go in with another design. So I've used that little one. We'll maybe go in with, go for this one, maybe here. And then dot this one around in the background. So you can just go in and just have fun pattern building and building up the images. But you can see how easy this is to do. What you can start to do as well is if you start to forget where you've been or anything, you can always just go in. I'm going to do this one with key lime. Sprinkle your embossing powder over. Then you can always just see where you've been that way. I'm going to just dust that off there. And we'll just put a few more in this top section. Up here. So I'm going to take my anti-static again. Just give that little area a dust over because I know I've got inky fingers there. Put one in here maybe. One down the bottom. And one over here. Okay. Might put one in the top up there as well actually because there's a bit of a gap going on there, so we'll fill that in. So then we're going to take our embossing powder again, just sprinkle it over, and then you can see how we've just filled the gaps in to create that background. So we'll pop that back into the jar again, and then we'll just heat these up. And you can see how we've created that lovely background, but we've got all of that glitter and sparkle on there from the WOW powders. So I'm just going to pop all the lids back onto my colours now before I knock them over. But that is basically our background created, and doesn't it look so pretty? So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of glitter onto there. So we're finished with our stamps now. That's all of our stamping done for this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some little self-adhesive jewels, and we'll pop some of those onto here as well. Okay, so I'm going to take my jewels to start with, and we're just going to dot these into the middle of the little flower bursts. So I've just got a pokey tool here. So into the larger ones, I'm going to add slightly larger jewels. Like so. You can just see how you can add these in and how easy it is then to do. Okay, and then we can also go in with some slightly smaller jewels too if we want to. And we can add these ones into the middle of the little smaller flower bursts. Like so. We can just work our way around, adding these in, and you can see how beautiful this is then going to look. Okay, so we've got all of our little jewels added into the centre there. So just hold that up, you can see those there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with some Dry's Clear PVA glue. You could use this, or you could use a quickie glue pen, either or. Just missed a little bit with my embossing there. I'm just going to give that a little blast over. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just go in with my glue and just add some little dots. Oh, I've missed a jewel out the middle of this one, look, as well. We'll get that added in. Okay, you're just going to add in little dots into the background. Like so. Okay, and then we're going to use our Crystallina glitter to just sprinkle over here. So Crystallina is a lovely like see-through colour. So this is one of our Sparkalicious glitters. And there we go. So you can just see how I'm adding that little bit of bling behind there. Okay, so we'll just wear around, add in a few more little dots onto here. And you can just add the little dots into the background as well. It just adds to the finished effect, because then when the light catches the card, you'll get the little sparkles sparkling back, which always looks so, so lovely. Okay, I'm going to add a little jewel just to where I've missed one there as well. Just grab those in, stick that on there. Okay, I'm going to add in a few little dots just around here. Again, just working in with your dry clear glue. Just randomly as well, there's no kind of particular way to do this. I'm just randomly filling in the dots. Like so. And we'll take our Crystallina glitter again and just sprinkle that over. There we go, and you can just see how pretty that then is going to look when that's all dried. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start and mat and layer my card up. So I'll pop that to one side to dry. I'm going to try and keep this card quite flat as well, just for a change. So I've got a piece of one of our gorgeous watercolour washers paper. So I've chosen one that's kind of got the oranges and the yellows and the pinks in. So that's going to match in nicely with my background that we've just created. So what we're going to do now is take a chisel tip glue pen. We're going to drag this just along the edge. Now I am making an 8x8 card today, but obviously you could use this technique for any size. So I'm just dunking this into my Crystallina glitter. I've got that big pot next to me. You can just see how you're going to add that little glittery edge to your projects by doing this. So we are then able to just work our way around, just adding that little sparkle around the edge of our card. Get rid of that scrap paper because we don't need that anymore. Now I've got my 8x8 card blank here, so I'm just going to stick this down flat onto the front. Again, these watercolour washers papers are just absolutely beautiful. You can see the different colours that you get in them are gorgeous. So I'm going to use my dry clear glue on the back, and then we'll just stick that down flat like so. Okay, so that's our card, our base in place. Then just to break it up, I've got a little bit of black card, so we're going to stick these two on top of each other here. But can you see how the black really makes the colours pop? So I'm going to take my black card, I'm going to glue this down. And that's going to go under here like so. And I'm going to do one more. going to stick our background down now that we've created. But this is such a lovely stamp, and I think this is such a lovely technique as well. Obviously normally if I was doing this myself at home, I would give that glitter time to dry before I start sticking that down. But you can see how just by adding it onto that watercolour background in the black card, it really makes your card pop. Then what I've done is I've taken our happy birthday die, and I'm going to show you this die actually because it comes in 3 different parts. So within the set as well, you do actually get the stamp. So you get the happy birthday stamp. So that stamp lines up with both of these 2 dies here. And then you've also got the filigree happy birthday as well. So you've got the happy birthday that cuts out the solid block for your background. You've then got the thicker happy birthday that you can either overlay your die cut onto, or you can stamp and emboss your happy birthday onto. And then you've got the little filigree happy birthday as well, which is lovely. And you can see how lovely and delicate that is when you die cut it out. So I've die cut this one from black card, and I've die cut this one from white card. We're going to layer these 2 together. So to do that, I'm just going to very carefully put a small amount of PVA onto the back of here. This is where this dries clear PVA with the fine tip applicator really comes into its own, because it allows you to really get into the precision. Okay, we're going to stick this down onto here, like so. Okay, so you can see how you've got that lovely little equal border going around the edge. And I'm going to stick that onto my card. And do you know what? I think just for a change, I'm going to put that on with a little bit of 3D glue gel just to give it a little bit of lift. So let me just grab. Doesn't help when you pick the empty tube up, does it? So I'm going to use my Collal 3D glue gel. Then I've just got a pokey tool here that I literally just use for putting glue gel on things. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel onto the back of here. And then we're going to stick this down in the middle of our card. There we go. And that would then be your finished project. So you can see how pretty this then looks, and it gives you that really, really beautiful background. Of course, you could go to town and add a bow onto here if you wanted to, or you could be adding some ribbons, some more embellishments, but the technique for creating the background is a really, really beautiful one. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please do subscribe to our channel. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and please do hop over and visit the website chloescreativecards.co.uk. I've linked all of the products below that I've been using for this tutorial, and I've also linked the blog post which has got any measurements to the sizes of card that I've used, and also links to any products. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I would love to see what you've created using the range.